Hi everyone, my name is Paulina. I'm from Paulina's Pages, and today Lila and I were doing a video together.
Hello everyone, my name is Leila and I am from Leilah'S library. I also do booktube videos and I don't really know what else to say.
And we're going to be doing the...
So I have a list of 10 words and I'll call out the words and then you have to name a book and you have to name, you have to talk about that book basically for the remaining 30 seconds.
Do I have to know the author names? Because I'm so bad at author names.
No. You don't have to. You can just say, oh, so I've heard about this book on Bookstagram and I know that it's about this, or something like that.
Okay.
Give you an easy one to start with. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, vampire.
So I don't read vampire books. I don't know Twilight, but that doesn't have vampire in the title.
It's okay.
No, that's a series. Is Vampire Diaries a series? Or is it a book series? It's a Vampire Diaries and it's about vampires and they write in their diaries. I don't know.
Your guess is as good as mine, honestly.
I honestly try to avoid vampires as much as I possibly can. I don't like Twilight just gives me, I can't.
King?
Yes.
Oh my god, the new one, How the King of Elflame Learned to Hate Stories. I think that's what it's called, the new one that's by Holly Black and it's everywhere.
I didn't know there was another Holly Black book. How have I not read this?
I haven't finished the Cruel Prince trilogy thing. I like the Cruel Prince, but I didn't like the one after.
Oh, actually, I've never read Cruel Prince. I just remembered I want to read it, but I haven't. That's dumb. But I'm dying to read it though. It's in my school library, so I'm going to.
Oh, yeah.
We have a school library, but none of the books that are popular right now and people are telling me that they're oh my god, they're so good, none of the books are there, so I don't go there.
Yeah, it's also I want to read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and Sorcery of Thorns, but I can't because it's not there, and Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is 400 Rand here, so it's so expensive.
So your next word is good.
Why do I not know any books? Why the Good Omens is a book now, I think. I think it is a book. Yes, it is a book now. Yes.
I'm so happy you named that book. It's one of my favorite books.
I've not read it. I want to read it. I really want to read it, but my sister's been talking about it for ages, so I really want to either read it or watch the series. I'm getting there. But do you recommend reading the book or the series?
I feel you should read the book and then watch the series because both of them are really good.
Yeah, I think that's how you usually should do things. Okay.
Yes, I agree.
So my second word is blue.
Blue. Blue wing? Blue...
I don't know. It's really hard, and then you've read something with that in, but then you're I don't remember the name.
Yeah.
I think the one I thought was Blue Lily Blue. It's part of the Raven cycle. I read a couple of days ago, that's why I remember it. Jumped on that, but I just found it by I was on Libby, which is an ebook library thingy, and I saw it and I was let's just read it, it's fine.
Your next word is ocean.
Why can I not remember anything with ocean in it? I know a lot of ones with sea, Starless Sea, Sea of Monsters, but I don't know. I know I've read books with the word ocean and I just can't remember.
The one that I thought of was ocean at the end of the lane.
The third word I have is thorn.
Sorcery of Thorns?
Thinking of what do you call it? Court of Thorns and Roses.
Oh!
Yeah.
I can't believe I even name that one. It's like I have the whole like series like sitting behind me.
Really, I have to reread it because I don't know how I feel about those books. I have such like mixed opinions. Like, one moment I enjoy them and then the next I want to burn them. So I don't know.
I read it, I really enjoyed it, but it's like so overhyped and I don't think it deserves it.
Like, I also enjoyed it, but there's just something to it that's lost me. I don't know if it's because like I've just grown out of enjoying it, but
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
Like the amount of times that they say mates in those books.
Oh my gosh, yes! Yes! At one point I was just like, I'm aware that he's your mate, just stop. Like,
Yeah.
stop it. Even Throne of Glass. Like, and it's such a weird concept. It's such a like true love.
No, the whole concept of Fae is like so strange. Like it's cool, right? But it's like so
I
weird.
love Fae. I love the idea of them. I love like the way they describe them with like pointy ears and things. But I don't know if I like. There's parts of them that I have such mixed opinions on them. Like I like the idea of them. I just don't like the way they're portrayed sometimes. You know?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. You phrased it so well. It's just that the like this whole like idea and the way that they're described, that's really cool. But like the way that they act in those books, they're like so possessive and like so toxic, and I'm just like, can you like not like push this onto young readers?
Yes, and that's the thing. Like I feel like those books in general, a lot of Fae books actually, they're just not meant for young readers. And they're in the young adult category, which means like a 13-year-old can pick it up and read it. And that's not good. Like they'll go into it without warning, you know?
Definitely. Like I feel that books like shouldn't have like an age limit, but in cases like this, when they're like portraying like violence and like romanticizing.
In ACOTAR, Thorns and Roses, when her elbow got, when she was like broken elbow, and then
Yes.
I was actually nauseous when I read that. I was like, this is torture. It was just the idea of someone having a broken elbow and then like having to twist the bone, and I can't.
Honestly, for me, the worst part was the part where they were like in the knight's court and she was like sitting on Rhysand's lap, and it was like so unnecessarily painful.
I don't know, it's just something that really irritates me when that happens, and then they suddenly turn into like these really good people, and they're just not.
Yes, like a young adult is great in so many ways, but some of these issues, the way that authors portray like abusers, it's like, okay, look, someone, you don't necessarily have to be like hitting someone to be an abuser, and then they just like push these ideas onto young people reading them, like, oh, it's okay for you to fall in love with someone who like broke your elbow, like.
I know, it's so great because like I'm so happy that you feel this way as well, because like certain books as well that they're not physically abusive, but there's certain things that are like jealousy, and then this person is like saying, no, you're with me, you can't go with that person, you know, I'm gonna be upset about it. And I'm just like, do you think that you're controlling her life? No, just she's kind of being abused because she's not getting to make her own choices. She's feeling like threatened, and she's feeling responsible for that person's feelings, and I'm like, it's not your responsibility. So
Definitely.
both of them like technically abused her, and she just went with the guy who abused her last. I think at the end Rhysand like genuinely cared for her, but I don't like the idea that he like never like really explicitly said that. Okay, like I think that she said at some point that she was sorry that like Rhysand broke her elbow and he like loved her and whatever, but he, even if he was playing a role, he should have like been caring towards her.
I know, and I feel like he was playing his role too well. Like, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't even like giving us hints that he wasn't actually abusive and now he's just manipulating her. I feel like I would have felt better if they were proper hints and being like proper things, like actual things that you can pick up and being like, actually maybe he does care for her. But because there weren't a lot of those, I kind of felt like it was just plot twist, yay! But, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't a, yeah.
Not talking about A Court of Thorns and Roses right now, but in young adult, like, a lot of times there's these guys who aren't abusive, but they just like, they have that like, the whole like alpha thing. Oh, I'm the alpha, I get to like control her decisions. Like, no you don't. For a lot of people, when they say, oh, like there's no gender discrimination right now, well, it's just because it's not like outwardly there, just because you don't outwardly see it, like it doesn't mean that it's not there.
Some people read books, like that's not, it's not a bad thing. Like some people read books with, I'd say, non-critical eye, which is okay. I think that like there are two ways of reading books. One is like a critical way and one is a non-critical way. And both are fine. It's just, I think I've been picking a lot of these things up because of being on YouTube and Bookstagram, and I've been doing reviews, and I like to keep my reviews very honest. So
Yeah.
I, you know, like, I read my books very critically now, so I pick a lot of these things up a lot more than what I would have normally.
A long time ago, I used to just read books for the pleasure of reading, and I still do that now. But now that there's like, I have more people like following me and reading what I write, I make sure that I examine every book carefully, because I don't want to be like saying, oh, this book is amazing, if it's like so clearly like racist, you know?
Smaller audience, you have a responsibility to make sure that what you're putting out there is the truth, and you're not like promoting a book that's, you know, racist or discriminates. So
Yeah.
you need to kind of pick these things up quite a lot, even like abusive things. I don't mind having abusive relationships in books. You kind of need to have a point where like the person needs to be punished, you know?
Happy endings have always been a for me, because like, while I agree with you that the abuser should be punished, a lot of time in real life they go away unharmed. So I think that sometimes in books they need to like take care to show that, guys, like, be careful with who you're talking about, because it's not always that abusers are like getting punished. So
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I think the reason why I think it should be punished, at least it doesn't necessarily have to be punished, but it needs to be like, this is an abuser, look at this abuser, it's not a normal person, he's abusive or she's abusive, you know? It needs to be clear.
Yeah.
Like, and I also think if there is, I don't think, something that does irritate me is when there's a happy ending with the abuser and then like the person walks away from this abusive relationship without any trauma or nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have trauma. You were just in abusive relationships where you couldn't even make your own decisions. Like,
a lot of the times it's like they only realize that they've been abused years later, but it's still traumatic. I hate books that are like, oh, just because I like broke up with an abuser and started a new healthy relationship, I'm suddenly okay. That's like, no, it's the wrong idea to promote, because then the people who are in the actual like abusive relationship, they have so much pressure to get better, and they shouldn't have that pressure, because it wasn't their fault, it was the abuser's fault.
and they feel like, oh no, I'm out of this relationship and I shouldn't feel like this anymore because everyone's is telling me that I should be feeling better. But in reality, it's not that easy. You diverted there. We just went like, wow.
Like having these discussions, this is actually why I chose this like tag, so we can like talk about it. The word for you is salt.
No. What? There are books with the word salt?
Well, there's this one book. It's called Salt to the Sea. It's like really popular.
Like, I don't know any of the popular books. It's so bad. Why am I like, I'm so oblivious with like popular books. I just kind of, yeah.
It's not like I stalk popular books, they just like come up. Like a lot of people, they're like, oh, you should read this. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess it's popular then.
4 is night. What the hell? I just said the book. Just skip that word. So my last word is war.
As in the war where you fight.
Yes.
Okay, well, War and Peace by Tolstoy. Yeah, I haven't actually read it, but it's like, okay, so I don't go to a Russian school, I go to an international school, but I know that in Russian school, War and Peace is like mandatory. That was, honestly, this was really fun to do.